3-part series of Preston's Paracast featuring the parasite researcher, Izzy.
Hey, Preston, what's going on? Want to say hello to everybody on the other side of the screen watching as well. Hope you guys are all doing good.
Yes, hope you guys are doing well. And let's just dive right into what we were talking about today, which is host defenses and treatment. I have an opening question for you, Izzy.
Let me hear it, P.
Have you ever hidden candy away from a sibling before? Maybe after Halloween or something? And if so, did they find the stash of your candy?
You know what? Actually, I never have, but I got a bunch of siblings, and they're always fighting over candy, so I can see where this is going.
Yes, this is very relevant, even though it might not be, or it might not sound like it at first. But it's like annoying of how like your line of defense wasn't necessarily good enough in a sense of like where your siblings keep finding this candy or like your stash of whatever you're trying to hide. And this kind of ties perfectly into this like host defense and parasite evasion. So basically how this is working is like the host has lined up the array of defenses, such as like the physical barriers or even like immune responses that we'll get into shortly. But to protect themselves from these harmful things like parasites, aka the siblings trying to get your candy. Not saying they're parasites, but I think it's really funny connection. But the parasite is not going to just give up very easily.
Right. So you're saying pretty much that the parasite is just trying to get around what the host has already got set up.
Yeah, exactly. Because these parasites can see that the reward of nutrients inside, or even the candy, of the host being so valuable that they will do almost anything to get around these defenses to get there. Is there any particular type of defense that you kind of think of in this situation, Izzy?
Oh, yeah. I think there's like 3 different kinds of defenses, and the first one that's shooting out to me from this situation's got to be avoidance.
Yeah, that's the one that's like where they literally just completely leave the area of the parasite where it could be located, just so then it reduces its chances of getting infected.
Yeah, you're right. I think a good way to think about that is kind of walk into a room. You're like, man, it kind of smells in here. You see somebody in the corner. You're like, I don't know, it might be them, and you just get out of that area because can't be somewhere it smells. You gotta get out of there.
Yeah, no, it's just not enjoyable when you're in that kind of environment. What's next?
After talking about avoidance, I think next got to be tolerance. Tolerance is kind of when the parasites that just live on the host. Oh wait, sorry, I kind of get caught up in my head. But let me get an example for you guys. I'm gonna go for bats because they're good reservoir hosts, which means that they tolerate a bunch of parasites in them.
Yeah, no, it's like when they have those bunches of parasites and they're like not getting infected by them, but they just carry them around. Like they can then just jump to other species of to infect them. And I kind of think of this as like where your friend is continually like talking to you when you're like busy with other things, kind of just trying to focus in, lock in on whatever you're doing, but you just let them ramble because it's good for them, but you don't necessarily have as much care for it, but like you can still kind of tune in without like being annoyed by it.
I see you. I mean, I've definitely been in that kind of situation. You're yapping in your ear pretty much. You're like, man, I don't really care what you're talking about, but you're my friend, so I'm going to tolerate it pretty much.
Yeah.
Okay, for the last one we're going to go over, it's a method called resistance. Mm-hmm. And this is showing that the host is prepared to fight the parasite if they were to decide to go at the host. So let's really dive into this. This is kind of a deep dive into the immune system part of this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so there's kind of 2 different types of immune responses that are known for going after these parasites. Whereas like you have the innate immune response where they don't necessarily have as much of a direct response. Like it's kind of just like that broad response against these pathogens or parasites that come in.
All right.
And they do what they can in the moment. And there's cells there that are called cytokines, which are there to like signal when something is wrong. So I kind of think of like when someone calls 911 when they see an emergency happening. And then we get into the white blood cells, which are like the first responders in this instance. They come to where the cytokines are and wanting to defend against these pathogens and parasites or whatever may be infecting you, and sending specific types of cells against the virus. And they can even like sending types of cells that are there to either signal, ingest the virus, and kill this parasites in general.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. P, does this this kind of thing work against any invaders for the host?
Not necessarily for everyone. This is kind of where another type of immune response comes in. developed like a group of animals called gnathosomes. Which,
What?
yeah, I know,
Nathosomes?
it's
Never heard of that.
such
What
a
the heck?
long, weird
That
word,
is a
but it's
weird word.
basically just an umbrella for jawed vertebrates. And
Huh.
so in this group, they are able to create cells within their innate immune system, specifically macrophages and dendritic cells, that show up to this new group of cells called T cells and B cells that are a part of this adaptive immune response, to help signal what the invader is. Izzy, would you like to kind of talk more about this?
Oh yeah, for sure. So when these cells from the innate immune system come to the active immune system, T cells are mainly used to help determine if the cell is self versus non-self. Pretty much, is that me? Is that not me? And it kills the cells that determines that are not itself.
Mm-hmm.
And in contrast, the B cells are they kind of keep all the memory. The bookkeepers, you can call them librarians. They keep all the knowledge in them for the antigens that bind to the invader.
Yeah, no, and it's definitely important for these B cells, like within these jawed vertebrates, to have like the continual memory of the invader, just because it could provide, if they get infected again, they have the ability to provide like quicker and more effective response to another time of infection. In addition, we also kind of need to consider that these pathogens and parasites are not only going to just roll over and raise that white flag and like give up, but they are going to try their best to get into the host and thrive.
Yeah, exactly. And I think we talked a little about this in the previous one, but these pathogens do release molecules that disrupt immune systems. And if this happens, then the response against the invader will be minuscule compared to that if there was no disruption.
Mm-hmm.
If this were to happen, then the loop would continue cycling around one another in infection, defense, and so on.
Yeah, it's just like going in that constant circle, like over and over and over again. Whereas like now we can kind of go into more modern medicine, where in like this last century has just been so good with like development of treatments against these like pesky invaders that are harming us. And at times our immune system isn't able to keep up with like how these parasites are evolving and being able to succeed. So taking a treatment like an anti-parasitic or an antiviral medicine can kill these invaders easier and help your immune system and be so much quicker if we just didn't have them, where we would just be sitting there just hoping that our immune system could respond quick enough and get us recovered quicker.
Yeah, when we talk about treatment, medications, actually, I believe, this kind of stuff has been even going on since like the Egyptian times. And, I actually really want to go to Egypt. I know it's kind of off topic, but it's one of the places
it's a really cool place.
Yeah, I know. Like the pyramids, I want to go there and get a curse or something. I don't know. Cool. But obviously, they're not in the same way like how we make pills or vaccines, but they did have remedies back in the day for these kind of things.
Yeah, it's just kind of like using kind of oils and whatnot that they found like on everyday things like a leaf or some other plants as well that you can just really use to help them and treat these parasites and pathogens that infect them. But for now, we'll tune into the final part of this 3-part series to learn more about the efficacy of treatments and even the importance of conserving these weird parasites in this world today. And stay safe.
Stay safe. We'll see you guys on the final episode.
Yes, see you guys.
See you guys.